This next video I want to cover is by the YouTube channel They Will Kill You. So please go and subscribe to them. It's a 45-minute video. I'm only going to go over the first few stories, first 10 to 15 minutes of the video or so. And, but I wanted to go over it because, it reminds me of situations I've been in with fake friends who had no problem leaving me in bad situations that I had to fight and claw to get my way out of. And it also reminds me of a friend who recently passed away 3 weeks ago. My good friend, I don't want to say his name. I don't want to put too much of his business out there, but it comes with a warning. So my friend was autistic, and he was taken advantage of by a woman he was in love with, who happened to be a married woman. So he was a first responder. He met this girl while they were training to be first responders. And then she ended up getting with another guy who was training to be a first responder in their class. Long story short, he stayed friends with them. All these years later, he got a great inheritance from his grandfather that recently passed away. I mean, my friend became a millionaire overnight. And he told too many people. I kept telling him, stop telling people. Stop telling people. He told way too many people about that money. And who decided she wanted a part of it? The girl he thought was his best friend. And he turned them down, which was actually a surprise that he turned them down. He didn't give them the chunk of money they were asking for. But he was also getting pills from them because he had a bad back injury. And the back injury required medication. Well, he was burning through what the doctors were prescribing. So he went to the streets and he was slipped fentanyl by his own best friend, a girl he was in love with. I tell you what, had I stayed friends with certain people, I would have been in the same situation. I would have ended up dead. So let's get into this video. 20 people who were killed by their best friends. Of course, advertisement.
18-year-old Tory Lang was found shot to death at Yellow River Park in Gwinnett County, Georgia, during the early morning hours in July of 2021.
Wow.
A week later, her car was found abandoned, burned, and hidden in a nature preserve roughly 5 miles from where her body had been found. While most of Lang's friends said they had no idea why she would have been at the park at the time of her murder, investigators eventually connected the crime to one of her best friends, Austin Ford. It was
Parks. Let me say something right here, right now. Public parks are not good places to go. Growing up when I was a kid, they were awesome. I loved it when my parents would take us out to the park. But things change, yo. Parks are dangerous. They're just like hot spots for crime. I don't know if you can hear my police scanner in the background, but I listen to it 24/7 to make sure I know what's going on all around me. And there's always fights happening at the parks, stabbings, shootings, drug overdoses. It's like that meme we see on Facebook. You never see kids riding bikes anymore, just crackheads. Like the same thing. You don't see families at parks anymore, just drug addicts. I'm not saying I want parks shut down or anything like that. As a matter of fact, we need to get in there and clean up these bad people so that the families can return to enjoying them. But yeah, stay away from the park. Day, night, don't matter. And if you go, make sure you got protection on you, and you got homies with you or friends that you can trust and will fight to back you up. You always got to be prepared everywhere you go, yo. This is a war zone we in.
charged with the young woman's murder. Ford claimed that he was innocent and that Lang's death was not caused by foul play. The case went to trial twice and ended in a hung jury both times. Ford was ultimately convicted of concealing the death of another and 2 theft by taking charges. And prosecutors decided not to try him for a third time on the more serious charges, including murder and aggravated assault. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, followed by 10 years of probation. And the exact circumstances leading up to Lang's
That's it.
unclear.
10 years prison, 10 years probation.
After a night out bar hopping in Sunderland, England, with friends in December of 2022, friends in the passenger seats. With nearly twice the legal amount of alcohol in her system, she drove at speeds of up to 80 miles per hour.
Wow.
30 miles per hour.
All I can say is been there, done that way too many times. I lost count. When I was young, I was dumb. By the grace of God, I survived putting myself in bad situations. Yo, stay away from the clubs. Stay away from partying out in public. If you want to have a drink, have it in the safety of your home. Don't go nowhere. Don't invite nobody. Don't go near anybody. As you can see, I love enjoying myself a nice cold beverage. But I'm not going to go out in the public. I'm not going to go driving. Like, I have what I need here at my house. Got my Doberman pinchers. Got my Bibles, #1. Hey, I'm not getting drunk. Don't worry. It's simply just a relaxation type of moment. It's a Sunday. Nobody's perfect. But yeah, stay away from the clubs, y'all. Enjoy yourself at home. Because there's too much danger out there. Ain't nothing good going on at night. Once the sun goes down, you go down. You go behind your house. I'm sorry, behind closed doors in your house, and don't go out. If maybe in your own yard if you live in a safe neighborhood. But hey, I carry a gun even in my own yard. So hear that? That's my dobies. I love them.
Speed limit zone. Martin eventually lost control of the vehicle and struck a barrier, killing backseat passenger Mia Marsh. According to a witness, Martin was driving like she was invincible and got angry whenever someone asked her to slow down. She had also got into a rage at the last bar the group stopped at when she crossed paths with an ex, and the worker had made a comment about how
Been in a situation like that before, where he's like, "Yo, pull over, let me drive. You're too intoxicated. I don't know why I let you get behind the wheel." And they just take off faster, cussing you out. Oh my God. By the grace of God, by the blood of Jesus, I made it through some insane situations, y'all.
he hoped she wasn't driving. Martin, who had no prior criminal record, initially told police that someone had drugged her drink at a bar, but surveillance footage ruled this out as a possibility. She later admitted to a charge of causing death by dangerous driving and was spared from prison time, but was banned from driving. Her defense attorney said that she quit drinking after the accident and took full responsibility for her actions. And while Martin said that she wished she could turn back time, her remorseful words did little to comfort Marsh's devastated family.
That's sad, yo.
Number 18. Marjesta Marty Thornton. In September 2021, 30-year-old Reuben Rich Hensley of Columbus, Georgia, began to suspect his best friend, 37-year-old Marjesta Marty Thornton, of sleeping with his wife, Jasmine Hall.
That's how it goes, too.
Thornton and Hall had grown close.
Damn.
Hensley frequently worked out of town for a solar energy company. And
That's
when
sad, bro.
Hensley discovered the extent of this closeness, he drove from Atlanta to Columbus in a rage and began searching the city for the pair. He became increasingly angry when Hall failed to answer his repeated phone calls. At around 9:30 p.m., Thornton took a phone call from Hensley.
I tell you what, I've had some scandalous women in my life before. I understand that rampage. By the grace of God, I didn't get to do the things I thought about doing in the past when I was young and dumb. Man, this video is bringing me back memories. Like, man, I'm 36 years old. Only 36. I'm still young, but I've been through a lot in life. I tell you what, I've been through quite a bit. And I'm still young. I can't imagine what the next 20 years is going to bring me. Wow.
Hensley while exiting his parents' home, unaware that his furious friend was outside waiting for him. Hensley shot him 3 times with a rifle, then sped off as Thornton's family members came outside and screamed in horror at the sight of their mortally wounded loved one. It quickly became apparent that there was nothing they could do to save him. Based on the angle of Thornton's bullet, it was apparent that he had been ducking or crouching when he was shot. The incident was reportedly captured.
So if I got hit in the headshot.
And 2 witnesses were able to identify the getaway car as a red Mustang. When Hall learned about the model,
It's always a Mustang or like a Honda
she knew it was
in the hood.
no coincidence that her husband owned the same type and color of told him that witnesses had identified his car and that he was a suspect in the crime. A few hours later, Hensley's Mustang was found abandoned and on fire with a shell casing inside, matching the caliber of the murder weapon. It was only a matter of time before Hensley was captured and arrested on suspicion of murder. He pleaded not guilty and maintained his innocence throughout the remainder of his court proceedings. During his trial, Hall testified that she and Thornton were only close platonic friends and that they were never anything more, despite what her now ex-husband believed. In March of 2024, the jury found Hensley guilty of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, first-degree arson, and using a gun to commit a crime resulting in a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
That's a brutal crime too, though. I think we can go through one more.
So for me, email.
Number 17, Vernon Stokes. In late May of 2022,
Damn.
22-year-old Vernon Stokes was found dead on a Metairie, Louisiana street with at least 10 gunshot wounds. While searching his phone, police found a series of photos that showed his best friend, 22-year-old Brandon Thomas Clark, posing in front of him with a gun. The pictures were taken at the crime scene just minutes before Stokes.
And then he shot him.
It also appeared as though someone had rummaged.
See, that story right there. Oh, God, that is very eerie. So I had a friend die similar to that. Not 10. He didn't get shot 10 times. My good friend Ben, he was married to this Native American girl. Well, dating one. They had kids together, so they should have been married. But anyways, they had kids together. And they were, so my friend Ben was into softball, recreational sports. They went out of town to Albuquerque, New Mexico, beautiful city. I love Albuquerque. But he went out there and they had their softball games. They got invited to a party later that night. And his brother-in-law, who was on his team, a Native American man, decided to pull his gun out late that night in that party around 3 a.m. to show it to everybody. And from what was reported by everyone there, he racked the slide, which put a round in the chamber. And my friend Ben kept telling him, the gun's loaded, you need to unload it. And so the guy pulls a magazine out and he says, no, it's still loaded. There's one in the chamber when you rack the slide. And his brother-in-law pointed the gun at him and said, it's not loaded. See? And he pulls the trigger. Boom. Point blank hits my homie. I heard it hit him in the head, then I heard it hit him like in his neck. I don't know. I wasn't there. I just know he was dead on the scene. One shot, point blank. Name of this video, Best Friends Will Kill You. So will your family. And your in-laws will too. So rest in peace, Ben, man. Don't go to parties. And this is coming from someone who organized the biggest house parties in Lincoln County, New Mexico, home of Billy the Kid, true regulator shit. This ain't that Warren G hiding out in a studio to regulate. Nah, homie, we was really out here doing that, dog, going out into the forest and doing gangster shit, dog. Like, I used to throw the biggest house parties the county ever saw, and nothing good came out of any of those parties. I ended up in jail, lost lots of good friends. It wasn't worth it, bro. And in the end, it gets deceitful. Everyone starts turning on each other. Oh, man. Damn. And Ben was someone who shouldn't have been shot, yo. Like, Ben was not that type of guy. He was such a nice guy. Like, shooting Ben didn't make sense. That's like shooting a teddy bear. Like, why are you wasting your time shooting this? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's sad. It's sad, yo. Don't trust nobody. Let's finish this last one, and then we're going to get into another video.
Through the young man's car before fleeing the scene. Several weeks later, U.S. Marshals apprehended Thomas Clark in Texas. He faces a second-degree murder charge in connection with Stokes' death. Vernon's mother, Nichelle Stokes, told NOLA.com that she was utterly shocked by the news. She said that Vernon and Thomas Clark grew up together and were like brothers, and that she treated the suspect like a son. Nichelle told
I tell you what, man, them friends you grow up with that are like your brothers, them gonna be your worst enemies at some point. If you're blessed like me to have a real brother, cherish your real brother. Friends, they will never be your real brother. And even things that my real brother ain't perfect. I mean, we brothers, the road is rocky at times. But when it comes to friends who want to be, who you think are your brothers, nah, they worse, bro. They not your brothers, they're your enemies, bro. Like, be careful, bro.
Police at the pier were out celebrating Thomas Clark's birthday when the fatal shooting happened. Thomas Clark has denied any involvement in the murder, claiming that he wasn't even there when it happened. But prosecutors believe that the photos found in Stokes' phone prove otherwise and are prepared to argue their case in court. It's unclear whether a trial date has been set. Number 16. Edmund Lamont Butler. Teenager Edmund Lamont Butler of River Rogue, Michigan, was killed by his best friend, Zayar Brooks, in July of 2022. While responding to a call about the incident, police found Butler dead in the driver's seat of his car with a gunshot wound to the head. Brooks was taken into custody about a month later and was charged as an adult.
That is so sad, man.
Murder, felony murder, carrying a concealed weapon, and 2 counts of felony firearm. According to police, he got into the back seat of Butler's car and fired a single shot into the back of the victim's head and fled the scene. In June of 2023, Brooks pleaded guilty to a reduced second-degree murder charge and various weapons.
That's dirty, dog. Back of the head.
23 to 40 years in prison. His reason for killing his best friend remains unclear to this day. Number 15. Jamie Goff. What
Man.
began as a normal day in 2004, a middle schooler named Michael Hernandez stabbed his best friend, Jamie Goff, more than 40 times in a school bathroom. He then went to class as Goff lay dying from his injuries.
That is so sad.
Goff's body was discovered and suspicion against Hernandez was quick to follow. The murder weapon was found inside his book bag and there was blood on his clothing, which only furthered investigators' belief that he had killed his friend. Hernandez claimed that a gang member had killed Goff while forcing him.
Killing your friend, like, that's brutal. So I understand, growing up, I dealt with bullies. So I ain't gonna act perfect. I took pocket knives with me to school at times. Then I learned all you need is a nice wooden pencil and a good pencil sharpener, and you got yourself a good shank. I mean, when I was young, y'all, I dealt with bullies. Being disabled, you deal with bullies. So I do believe in self-defense, and I do believe in hitting a bully so hard that they crumble and don't bully you ever again. But as for going full out and killing them, self-defense is one thing, but killing for no reason is a whole different subject. If you have to defend yourself and it results in them being eliminated, hey, it is self-defense. Yeah. I tell you what, though, it's a crazy world. Be careful who you trust. Not everybody is your friend. Anybody you think is your friend, you need to check them before you check yourself. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. That is what I was trying to think about. Anyways, let's get into this next video, y'all. That's the end of this one. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as well as to They Will Kill You. There's a lot of good videos on here. If you want to finish watching this video, head on over to their channel and enjoy. Peace out.